EW double exclamation mark. Look what I found in my garage. It's like the size of my palm and it's moving.
What the actual hell is that thing? Please tell me this is some weird art project of yours. If you're making little animals out of mincemeat, then we gotta get you to a psychiatrist.
I swear it's not. It's alive and pulsating, like breathing, but with its whole body.
Oh my god, that is so freaky, but also kinda cute. Those eyes are killing me. Are they actually attached, or did you stick them on?
They're part of it. I didn't touch it at all. I mean, except with a pencil to poke it.
Fascinating. Can you describe the texture? Is it slimy or dry?
Moist but not slimy. Like raw chicken but softer. I'm putting it in a jar.
Congrats, Lauren, you found ET's lost testicle. Better call NASA.
Seriously, though. What do you think it is? Maybe it escaped from someone's exotic pet collection.
I have no idea. Got it contained. It doesn't seem all that aggressive, to be honest. Just kind of wriggles around.
Does it react when you move the jar or to light?
It seems to flinch from bright light, but otherwise just exists. Hold up, it's secreting something.
Oh, what color?
Clear, like thick water. Oh crap, it's eating through the lid.
What do you mean eating through the lid?
The liquid is dissolving the plastic part of the lid. I'm switching to a metal container.
This is incredible. It must be secreting some kind of acid or enzyme.
It dissolves plastic? That's not normal.
Maybe it washed up from the ocean? Red Cove gets some crazy stuff from the deep water sometimes.
Maybe, but I found it in my garage. How would it even get there?
Could have come in with your dad's fishing gear?
True, but Dad hasn't gone fishing in weeks.
I think you should show it to Dr. Winters. The vet might know what it is.
Good idea, but I need to study it first, for art reference.
Weird flex, but okay. Just don't let it dissolve your face while you sleep.
Thanks for that nightmare fuel. And not gonna lie, I think it's getting bigger.
It must be absorbing something from its environment. What's it been exposed to?
Just air in the containers, and I guess whatever was in the garage.
That's creepy but also cool. Like a real-life Tamagotchi that actually grows.
Hey, Dr. Winters. Sorry to bother you after hours, but we've got something weird in the storage room. They're eating the spilled supplement powder. At least I think they're eating it. It's disappearing and they're getting bigger.
That's extremely unusual. How large are they?
About the size of cats. They were way smaller when we first spotted them, like marble-sized.
And they have eyes?
Yeah, googly eyes. Almost looks fake.
Don't touch them directly. Can you contain them safely?
Already swept them into a metal bucket. They don't move fast, just sort of pulse.
I'll come by first thing tomorrow morning. Keep them isolated. And Jason, don't tell anyone else about this yet. Could be nothing, but let's not cause a panic.
You got it, Doc. See you tomorrow.
Crap, I just went to have dinner, and when I came back, I found the jar empty.
Wait, what? Did it escape?
Yes, there's this slime trail leading to the air vent.
Holy crap. Are you serious?
I am freaking out right now. What if it gets into the walls?
Maybe it's harmless? It didn't try to attack you or anything.
The ability to dissolve materials and grow rapidly is concerning. I think you should tell your parents.
They'll think I'm making it up. Or worse, that I brought some stray animal home.
You need to find it. What if it multiplies or something?
Do you think there could be more of them?
God, I hope not. Oh no, I hear something in the wall, like a soft squishing sound.
Okay, that's it. I'm never visiting your house again.
The residue interests me. Do you think it's using that to move, like a snail?
I don't know and I don't care. I just want it out of my house.
Maybe check if there are more in the garage. If one got in, others might have too.
Oh God, I didn't think of that. Be right back.
Take a broom or something.
And wear gloves. Remember, it dissolves things.
Back. Nothing obvious in the garage, but there's slime in a few spots.
I really think you should message Dr. Winters. This sounds like something he should know about, especially if it's an invasive species.
Fine. I'll ask my mom to send him a message tomorrow. For tonight, I'm sleeping with my door closed, and something heavy against it.
Smart. Keep us updated.
Will do. Going to try to sleep now, with one eye open.
Eleanor, I need your expertise. Have you ever encountered anything like this?
Nathan, where did you get this? This is unusual.
Jason at the grocery store found several. They were consuming protein powder.
The morphology is fascinating. Almost reminds me of certain deep-sea organisms, but the eye structure is all deformed.
They seem to be growing at an accelerated rate and secrete a substance that can dissolve organic materials.
Yikes. Could be an invasive species, or something that washed up from the deep water beyond the reef.
I'm concerned about their origin and their purpose. This doesn't look like any natural organism I've ever encountered.
I agree. What's your plan?
I'm going to examine one tomorrow, run some basic tests, see what we're dealing with.
Keep me posted. And Nathan, be careful. Unknown organisms can be unpredictable.
Yep, tell me about it. I'll update you tomorrow.
Guys, a news alert just got announced about unusual animal sightings around Red Cove. It's gotta be about those things. They're calling them unidentified organisms.
Oh my goodness. So there are more of them. I thought I was going crazy.
You're definitely not crazy. I just found another in my backyard pond. It's almost as big as my fist now.
That's way bigger than the one I found. Did you contain it?
Yeah, I scooped them into a metal bucket. It didn't even try to escape, just kind of sat there.
This is getting interesting. I've started mapping all the sightings around town that are popping up. Notice anything?
They're all near water. The marina, the creek, people's ponds.
Exactly. Whatever these things are, they seem drawn to water sources.
That explains why mine went into the wall. It was probably heading for the bathroom pipes.
What if they're dangerous?
We need more data before we can say that. Everyone keep reporting sightings so I can update the map.
My dad said the bait shop found some in their live wells this morning. Like a dozen of them.
A dozen? Uh-oh. My sister just found these in our basement. She said they're all smaller than the one I caught, like they're babies or something.
I think they might be dividing, just like cells do. That would explain the rapid population increase.
Hey guys, sorry to jump in, but I heard you were tracking these things. Our pool is infested with them.
Olivia, that's so many. When did they show up?
We noticed a few yesterday. By this morning, the pool looked like this. They're definitely multiplying, and some are getting bigger. The largest ones are like the size of dogs now.
This is an actual invasion. What are these things?
I've been texting with Dr. Winters. He's collecting specimens for study. Says they have extremely unusual cellular structures.
What does that mean?
It means they're really weird.
So, aliens? I was joking yesterday, but now I'm not so sure.
Whatever they are, they're disgusting. My dad tried to scoop some out and got this awful rash on his hands.
They secrete something that can dissolve plastic. Tell your dad to wash his hands thoroughly.
Too late. He's heading to urgent care now.
Diana, we need to issue a public safety alert. These organisms are appearing all over town, and they're potentially hazardous to touch.
I've been getting texts all morning. What exactly are we dealing with?
I wish I knew, but all I do know is that they secrete a mild acid that can cause skin irritation, and they're multiplying at an alarming rate.
Great, just what I needed today. What should the alert say?
Advise people not to touch them directly. Use gloves or tools to handle them if necessary, and report large clusters to your office.
What about disposal? People are asking what to do with them.
For now, metal containers with secure lids. I'm working on a more permanent solution.
All right, I'll get the alert out within the hour. Any idea where they came from?
Not yet, but they seem concentrated around water sources, particularly standing water.
The reservoir. Should we be concerned?
It's possible, but I haven't confirmed that yet. Let me run more tests first.
Keep me updated. People are getting nervous.
Samir, I need your expertise on something.
Whoa. The membrane structure is highly irregular. Almost looks designed rather than evolved.
That's what concerns me. They also exhibit extraordinary regenerative properties. I cut one specimen in half. Both halves continued living independently.
That suggests a decentralized nervous system, similar to certain marine invertebrates, but much more sophisticated.
And they're appearing all over Red Cove, multiplying rapidly.
Are they consuming resources?
Yes, primarily proteins and certain minerals. They seem particularly attracted to calcium and iron.
That's consistent with growth requirements. If they're rapidly reproducing, they would need those building blocks. Have you determined their origin?
Not yet. We have nothing to compare them with.
Then I'd like to examine one personally. Could you send a specimen to my lab?
I'll arrange that today, but do not touch it with your bare hands. They secrete a mild acid when agitated.
Well, it's official. These things are dangerous. The sheriff just sent out an alert to avoid them.
My mom just got that alert too, and my sister is freaking out about the ones in our basement.
Did you contain them?
My dad is trying, but they keep appearing, like they're coming from somewhere.
Same at my house. We keep finding more, no matter how many we collect.
This is getting scary. What if they keep multiplying?
Has anyone contacted the state environmental agency? This seems far beyond local authorities now.
My mom says they're sending someone tomorrow, but they think it's just some kind of sea slug invasion.
These are not sea slugs. Sea slugs don't have googly eyes, and they don't multiply overnight.
Dr. Winters is studying them. He said their cellular structure is completely unique.
Great. So we have no idea what they are or how to stop them. That's so reassuring. Attention all department heads. We are establishing a response team for the organism situation. Dr. Winters will serve as our scientific advisor. Nathan, please bring everyone up to speed.
Thanks, Diana. Here's what we know so far. These organisms, locally being called Lil Nuggets, are appearing throughout town. They multiply rapidly, especially near water sources. They secrete a mild acid that can cause skin irritation. They consume proteins and minerals to grow. And most concerning, They can merge to form larger entities.
We're seeing hundreds at the Marina now. They're collecting under the docks. The fishermen are refusing to go out.
That concentration is troubling. How quickly did they appear?
Overnight, there were just a few yesterday, appearing in random places throughout the house. Now they're everywhere. What's our containment strategy then? We can't have the whole town overrun.
I'm still working on that. But first, we need to understand what we're dealing with. I believe these may be fragments of a larger organism, attempting to reconstitute.
Reconstitute into what exactly?
That's the question, and I'm afraid we need to find out quickly, before there are too many to control.
Keep me updated. I'm calling an emergency town meeting for tomorrow, 7 p.m. on the town group chat.
I've established a makeshift lab at my clinic. The situation is escalating rapidly. I've collected over 30 specimens of varying sizes that are all in the back as we speak.
Impressive setup for a veterinary clinic? Have you made any new discoveries?
Yes, and they're deeply concerning. The last image I sent you was on a different section of the creature. Now look at this one. A cell from right in the middle. Look at this cellular composition. It exhibits both plant and animal cell characteristics.
That's unheard of. Surely it's false. Plant and animal cells cannot be the same.
Well, it looks like biology was wrong. The regenerative abilities alone are extraordinary. I severed one specimen into 8 pieces this time. Within hours, all 8 pieces were moving independently.
Self-sustaining fragments. Incredible. Have you identified any specific proteins?
Several. That's where I need your expertise. I'm sending you the analysis results now.
This can't be right. These protein structures don't match anything in our databases, at least nothing terrestrial.
So you see my concern. Whatever these lil nuggets are, they're not from any known species on Earth.
I'd hesitate to jump to extraterrestrial conclusions, but this is certainly outside our current biological understanding. Any patterns in their behavior?
Yes, actually. When placed in proximity, they form tendrils to connect with each other. Luckily, I keep separating them before they could fully connect.
They're trying to merge, perhaps to reconstitute into something larger?
That's my working theory. They also secrete specific enzymes when exposed to protein-rich materials. The enzyme breaks down the protein for absorption.
They're consuming proteins to fuel growth and reproduction. Highly efficient, almost engineered.
Exactly my thoughts. I need to run more tests. I have a high school student helping me, Lucas Hoffman. He's quite brilliant.
Keep me updated. This could be a significant biological discovery, or a serious threat. I'll analyze these proteins further.
Nathan, this situation is escalating much faster than anticipated. We've found clusters throughout the town's water infrastructure. Pipes, sewers, storm drains, they're everywhere.
That confirms my suspicion. They're using the water system to travel.
The water treatment plant found hundreds this morning, and when a worker tried to get a picture, they all ran away, except for one. They're starting to impact essential services.
Damn it. We need to implement town-wide containment protocols. Are you ready for another emergency meeting tonight?
As ready as I can be? What should I tell people this time?
The truth, but cautiously. We don't want to panic. These organisms are invasive and potentially harmful, but we're working on a solution.
And what is that solution exactly?
I'm still working on that part. If they're using the water systems, we might be able to trap them there.
Great. So I tell people we have a plan without actually having one.
We have the beginnings of a plan. I just need more time for research.
Time may be a luxury we don't have. These things are multiplying exponentially.
I understand. I'll accelerate my research. In the meantime, advise residents to check their plumbing for signs of infestation.
Nathan, I need to speak with you about these lil nugget creatures. I found similar organisms in the tidal pools along the eastern shore.
Eleanor, your timing is perfect. I've been studying them in my clinic.
Good, because I need to tell you something. I have just found there are way more concentrated near the deeper water.
That suggests a marine origin, which aligns with their cellular structure.
I've been tracking unusual aquatic patterns offshore for weeks now. Something disturbed the deep water ecosystem several days before these creatures appeared.
What kind of disturbance?
Unexplained migration patterns, deep-dwelling species coming unusually close to shore. And now these organisms. I don't think it's coincidental.
Do you have any theories?
Only one that makes scientific sense. These are biological fragments of a larger marine organism, possibly dislodged and washed ashore.
That aligns with my observations. They attempt to reconnect when in proximity.
We need to investigate the offshore trenches. That's where this all started.
How quickly can you organize a research expedition?
A few days at minimum, but the weather forecast isn't favorable. High seas expected by weekend.
We might not have days.
I'll see what I can do.
The emergency town meeting for tonight will begin now. Thank you all for joining. As you're all aware, our town is experiencing an unusual biological situation. Dr. Winters will present the scientific findings.
Thank you, Sheriff Jackson. We're dealing with an unknown organism that we're calling Lil Nuggets. They appear to be biological fragments with both plant and animal characteristics. They multiply rapidly and are attracted to water sources. We've confirmed they're using the town's water infrastructure to travel.
They've completely infested the grocery store's plumbing. We had to shut the whole thing down.
3 schools have reported finding them in bathroom drains. We're considering temporary closure.
The marina is overrun. Fishing operations are completely halted.
We're working on containment strategies. For now, everyone should check their plumbing for signs of infestation. Do not touch these organisms with bare skin. Use metal or glass containers for capture.
We've established a collection point at the fire station. Public Works is inspecting the water treatment facility now. We're considering temporarily shutting down the municipal water supply.
That seems extreme. How will people get water?
We'll distribute bottled water if necessary, but we need to stop these things from spreading.
I've contacted state environmental authorities. They're sending specialists tomorrow. Until then, we need to contain as many specimens as possible.
What about the harbor? They're collecting under docks and boats.
Metal mesh barriers at water exits may help, but complete containment may be impossible at this point.
Everyone please remain calm. Follow the safety protocols Dr. Winters has outlined, and report large concentrations immediately. We'll get through this together.
Just got out of Dr. Winters' lab. These things are on a whole other level.
So what exactly are they then?
Dr. Winters thinks they're fragments, parts of something bigger. They try to reconnect when they're close to each other.
That is so messed up. Like they're puzzle pieces or something?
More like cells trying to reform a body. And they're smart. The bigger they get, the more deliberate their movements become.
They're all over town now. My mom says they found hundreds in the water treatment plant.
Our bathroom sink was gurgling this morning. Dad found like 20 of them in the drain.
Same here. They're using the pipes to get around.
The pool is completely full of them now. They're merging together in some places, forming bigger blobs.
What happens if they all connect?
I don't know, but Dr. Winters seems really worried about it. He's working with marine biologists now. They think these things came from the ocean.
That makes sense. Red Cove gets weird stuff washing up all the time.
But nothing like this. This is different, and nobody seems to know how to stop them. You guys need to see this. I just found this in my neighbor's abandoned shed. It's like 24 of those nugget things merged together.
Holy cow! How big is that thing?
Funny you should say cow, considering it's the size of one. And it is covered in eyes.
There's something similar happening at the marina. They're eating all the fish waste and bait, growing bigger by the hour. The dock workers are freaking out.
Dr. Winters and I were just discussing this. Our experiments show they're seeking specific minerals. They need them to multiply and grow.
What kind of minerals?
Mostly iron, calcium, and some rare trace elements, all of which are super abundant in Red Cove's soil and water. That's why we're the only town dealing with this.
Lucky us. So, what happens when they get big enough?
We don't know yet, but Dr. Winters is worried. He says they're showing signs of increased intelligence as they grow larger.
Intelligent meat blobs? Great. Just great.
Guys, I think I know what these things are, or at least what they might be. Aiden and I have been going through Old Town archives at the library.
And what did you find?
I'm in the basement archives right now. Found some crazy old newspapers from 1887. There are multiple stories about Charlie's children and a town effort to scatter the pieces.
I found similar references on the top floor. Something about a townwide effort to defeat something called Big Charlie. This is a photo of him directly from the paper. It's been colorized since just to let you know. I'm gonna message Mrs. Foster now. She's the town historian. Her family has been here forever. She might know something about this.
Dr. Winters just got some test results back. All the specimens share identical DNA, even though they're different sizes, like they're all pieces of the same organism.
So all these things are actually parts of one big thing, and they're trying to get back together?
That's the working theory. And based on what Aiden and Zoe found, it seems like this might have happened before.
Nathan, the DNA results are back, and they're extraordinary. Every single strand is identical.
All of them? Even the larger specimens?
Yep, even more fascinating, the specimens from different parts of town, miles apart, same genetic markers, same mutation patterns, same everything.
So they really are all fragments of one organism, not distinct individuals.
Precisely, this is a single, biological entity, fragmented but seeking reunification.
Which explains their behavior. The merging we've observed. It's not reproduction, it's reconstitution.
Exactly. And they're multiplying so rapidly because each fragment has the genetic programming to expand. Like a starfish regenerating from a single arm, but on a massive scale.
How large do you think the original organism was?
Based on growth patterns and cellular density, enormous. Building-sized at minimum.
Dear God, if they all reconnect?
I suggest extreme containment measures. Immediately.
Just got word back from Mrs. Foster. You guys aren't going to believe this.
What did she tell you?
There just so happens to be an old town legend about Big Charlie. It was a massive creature that threatened Red Cove generations ago. The town founders had to fight it. She described it as flesh that walks, a huge mass with countless eyes that consumed everything in its path.
That sounds exactly like the merged Nuggets, just way bigger.
According to Mrs. Foster's family records, they couldn't kill it, so they scattered its body into thousands of pieces and buried them all over the area. They called the pieces Charlie's children.
That matches everything we're seeing now. These Nuggets are Charlie's children, and they're trying to reform Big Charlie.
But why now, after more than 100 years?
Mrs. Foster mentioned something about the new harbor dredging. They've been digging up the seafloor. Some pieces must have been disturbed and washed ashore.
So, what happens if they all merge back together?
According to the legend, the Ultra Charlie nearly devoured the entire town.
We need to tell Dr. Winters and Sheriff Jackson. ASAP! Because if the Nuggets combine, then the Big Charlies form. And if enough Big Charlies form, well, a flesh titan will arrive.
Nathan, we have multiple reports of large masses forming across town. This one's in the Central Park, at least 6 feet across now.
This is happening faster than I anticipated. How many large masses have been reported?
7 so far, and those are just the ones we know about. I'm coordinating with Captain Morgan to establish containment zones.
That may not be enough. I just received confirmation from Dr. Kapoor. These are all fragments of a single organism, trying to reconstitute itself.
You're saying all these nuggets are parts of one thing?
Yes, and I believe I know what that thing is. I received some historical information from Zoe Richardson about something called Big Charlie, and then an even bigger variant called the Titan of Flesh.
The old town legend? My grandmother used to talk about that.
It's not just a legend. I think it's happening again.
So what do we do?
We need to prevent these masses from joining together at all costs.
I'll dispatch teams to each known location, but we need a more permanent solution.
I'm working on it. In the meantime, we need a complete survey of the sewer system. They're using it to travel.
I'll contact Public Works, but with the system so extensive, it will take days to check everything.
We don't have days.
Nathan, the situation at the harbor is critical. We have a mass forming under the main dock. It's already consumed 2 smaller boats.
Consumed? What do you mean?
Pulled them under and absorbed them. Metal, fiberglass, everything. The mass just grows bigger with each thing it consumes.
Has anyone been injured?
Not yet. We've evacuated the marina, but I'm worried about tonight's high tide. If it reaches the commercial fishing area...
Quarantine the entire harbor. No one in or out. I'm coming down there myself.
Hurry! This thing is growing by the minute.
Urgent update! We now have 7 confirmed large masses throughout town, each approximately 6 to 10 feet in diameter. I am establishing containment zones around each location. No unauthorized personnel allowed within 100 feet.
These masses must remain separate. If they join together, the situation will escalate drastically.
Public Works is surveying the sewer system, but it's slow going. We suspect many more nuggets remain undiscovered. By tonight's high tide, we could be facing a very different situation.
I concur. The harbor mass has doubled in size in just 3 hours. It's showing signs of intelligence, reaching for larger objects, almost like it's hunting.
That aligns with my research. As they grow larger, their behavior becomes more complex, more purposeful. So far, it seems this is the order in which these things develop. Lil Nuggets form meat piles. Meat piles form Big Charlies. And once you get enough of those, well, let's just say we'll have one hell of a problem on our hands.
What's your recommended course of action?
Containment is our priority for now, but I'm working on a more permanent solution. I need a few more hours.
Let's hope we have that long.
Nathan, I'm shifting my focus to historical marine ecology records. Something about these readings doesn't make sense.
Oh, really? What have you found?
There's an anomalous deep water pattern about 20 miles offshore, in the trench beyond the reef. Look at the satellite image.
That's enormous. What am I looking at exactly?
Something moving. Something big. The locals have a name for it. They call it the Sea Eater.
The Sea Eater? That's the first I've heard of this.
I've been digging through 19th century whaling records. They describe a massive creature that consumed biological matter from the ocean floor. The whalers were terrified of it, called it the sea eater, because it would devour whale carcasses they were trying to harvest.
Could this be connected to our nugget situation?
I believe so. The historical accounts mention the creature stayed in deep water, never coming close to shore. It may have been a natural predator, keeping other large marine organisms in check.
Like the Titan of Flesh and the Big Charlies?
Possibly. Ecological systems often develop natural balances. If the sea eater kept the flesh creatures contained offshore,
And we disrupted that balance with harbor dredging. It makes a terrible kind of sense.
Exactly. I'm continuing to research, but this could be critical information. The sea eater might be what kept these damn things from reforming in the past.
We need Professor Davenport's input on this. I'll contact him immediately. This could be the breakthrough we need. Professor Davenport, I need your expertise on biological superorganisms. Are you familiar with our situation in Red Cove? Indeed I am, Doctor. Winters. Fascinating case from a theoretical perspective. Terrifying from a practical one. I'm trying to understand the mechanism behind these creatures, how they can disperse and reform. There are precedents in nature, though none so advanced. The slime mold Physarum polycephalum can separate and reconnect. Portuguese man-o'-war is technically a colony of organisms functioning as one. But what you describe is far more complex. Could you elaborate on the theoretical framework? Consider it a biological imperative. Each fragment contains the genetic blueprint of the whole and a biological homing mechanism. They're programmed at the cellular level to seek reunification. That explains their behavior. But what about the apparent intelligence they display? That's where it gets interesting. I believe they form a hive mind, even when physically separated, a form of biochemical communication, similar to how plants use mycorrhizal networks, but vastly more sophisticated. So each nugget is both independent and part of a collective intelligence? Precisely. And that intelligence would grow with each reconnection. Each merger increases the processing power, so to speak. Dr. Hayes discovered something called the sea eater, a deep water predator that may have kept this organism in check. A natural predator-prey relationship. That would make ecological sense. Nature abhors a vacuum. For every powerful organism, there evolves a counter. Could we use this relationship to our advantage? Theoretically, yes. If you could lure the organism to where its natural predator resides, nature might solve your problem for you. But it would be extremely dangerous. At this point, we need all options on the table. Thank you, Professor. Your insight is invaluable.
They're at my school! They're evacuating us right now!
Emma, are you okay?
Yeah, I'm fine. But they were everywhere, just pouring out of the drains. All the students are freaking out.
Is everyone safe?
I think so. But it happened so fast. 1 minute normal day, next minute meat blobs with eyes.
I'm coming to get you. Stay with your teachers.
This is happening all over town now. The Nuggets are showing coordinated behavior, like they're working together.
How is that possible? They're just blobs.
Dr. Winters thinks they have a hive mind, all connected somehow, even when physically separated.
That is horrifyingly cool, and also just regular horrifying.
Dr. Winters, the situation at the grocery store has escalated. The Nuggets are stealing specific food products.
Stealing? What do you mean?
I mean, they're selecting certain items, working together to carry them away. This is coordinated behavior. They're targeting protein-rich foods, meats, mushrooms, even pet food.
They're gathering resources, accelerating their growth process.
And they're smart about it. They wait until an aisle is empty, then swarm in, take what they need, and disappear into the vents or drains.
This confirms our hive mind theory. They're sharing information, coordinating across the entire town.
What should we do? We're running out of certain products. People are starting to go hungry.
Secure all food supplies, metal containers if possible. We need to starve their growth.
I'll do what I can, but they're getting more aggressive. One of my employees was bitten when they tried to stop them.
Bitten? That's new behavior.
Yeah, drew blood too. They're evolving, Dr. Winters, and not in a good way.
Urgent. New development at the abandoned cannery. We have multiple reports of a new type of entity. This is not the same as the nuggets or the large masses.
Dear God, a transitional form?
We're seeing similar entities at the harbor. They're fast and aggressive.
This changes our understanding of the progression. The Nuggets aren't directly forming into Big Charlies. They're creating these intermediate forms first.
What do we call these things?
Based on the historical accounts, these are lambs mentioned in the old texts, but we didn't understand the reference until now.
I'm coordinating evacuation of all neighborhoods near the cannery. These lambs are actively hunting rather than just stealing. We've had reports of them killing cats and small dogs.
Harbor area is being cleared now, but these things move faster than we anticipated, at least as fast as a running person, if not more.
Keep everyone away from them. They appear to be collection vehicles, gathering more biomass to accelerate growth.
So what's our strategy?
Containment is no longer sufficient. We need active countermeasures. I'm working on a chemical deterrent.
We need something now, Nathan. People are in immediate danger.
I'm with Danny near the cannery. You guys need to see this. They're hunting in packs.
Jesus. Are you safe?
We're in my car, observing from a distance.
These lambs, or whatever they're called, are freaky as hell. They move like dogs but have no eyes. No mouths either, but they definitely seem to know where they're going.
Dr. Winters and I just made a discovery. They're using ultrasonic frequencies to communicate. That's how they coordinate without seeing each other.
That would explain a lot. They seem to be moving toward areas with lots of nuggets. Look at this. They're absorbing them.
Is that how they grow?
Exactly. The lambs are collection vehicles. They gather nuggets to accelerate merging, eventually forming the big Charlies. But this is a more efficient process than we thought.
I've been mapping all reported lamb sightings. They're all converging toward the town center, right where the historical records say the Titan of Flesh was originally scattered.
That can't be coincidental. They're drawn to where the original entity was defeated.
It makes sense. If they're all pieces of the same organism, they'd be programmed to return to the point of dispersal.
So, what happens when they all get there?
Nothing good.
We need to warn everyone near the town center. These things are dangerous.
Nathan, I've completed the chemical analysis. These creatures require specific protein structures to form combined states.
Can we use that information to slow them down?
Potentially, they need 7 specific amino acid chains. Without them, the biomass can't successfully merge.
Is there any way to block or denature those proteins?
Yes, but it would require massive quantities of the blocking agent, more than we could produce quickly.
What about a targeted approach? Focus on the largest masses?
That could work, but there's something else you should know. I've been researching coastal town histories. Similar occurrences have been reported throughout history. Jamestown, 1702. New Bedford, 1845. Port Angeles, 1923.
All coastal towns just like ours.
Yes, and in each case, the incidents ended mysteriously. No explanation in the historical record, just resolved suddenly.
Could it be the sea eater, the natural predator Dr. Hayes identified?
Possibly. Natural ecological cycles we're only now beginning to understand.
That could be our solution. Not fighting the organism directly, but restoring the natural balance.
Nathan, I've analyzed the growth data from all documented specimens. The results are mortifying.
How bad is it?
At current multiplication rates, the combined biomass will reach critical threshold within 72 hours.
And that means full reconstitution?
Yes. First the nuggets form lambs, then lambs grow into big Charlies. When enough big Charlies merge, we get the full Titan of Flesh.
How many lambs have been confirmed so far?
17, with more forming hourly. And we've identified 3 nearly formed big Charlies. 1 at the harbor, 1 at the cannery, 1 near the water treatment plant.
This is accelerating faster than we anticipated. How large would the fully reconstituted entity be?
Based on current biomass and growth projections, massive. Triple the size of a house at minimum, potentially much larger.
And presumably much more dangerous.
If the historical accounts are accurate, catastrophic, potentially capable of consuming the entire town.
We need to act immediately, before more lambs form.
Nathan, we have a problem. The lambs are herding people, driving them toward the large masses.
Herding them? You mean hunting them?
No, herding! Like sheepdogs, cutting off escape routes, forcing people toward the center.
They're bringing food sources to the larger masses, increasing efficiency.
We have at least 30 people trapped in the community center, lambs surrounding the building.
Are SWAT teams operational?
Yes. But conventional weapons aren't very effective. They just split apart and reform, like the nuggets but faster.
Focus on avoidance then. Keep people away from the larger masses. I think I know how to stop this.
Just spotted 2 lambs down Main Street. They're heading toward the old courthouse.
That's where the town monument is. According to Mrs. Foster's archives, it's built on the exact spot where they scattered the Titan of Flesh.
I'm with Emma at home and we're surrounded. There are at least 3 lambs circling our house.
Don't panic. They seem to only attack if you run. I've been observing their behavior patterns. They want to herd, not kill, at least not immediately.
So what do we do? Just sit here until they break in?
They want you to go toward the town center. That's where all the specimens are converging. But don't do it. Dr. Winters thinks that's where the Reformation will happen.
I managed to get to the Marina. The big mass here is changing. It looks like it's becoming one of the big Charlies.
That's the 3rd one confirmed. If they all meet up at the town center...
Then we get the Titan of Flesh. According to the old accounts, it nearly consumed the entire original settlement.
Dr. Winters and Dr. Hayes are working on a plan. Something about the sea eater, the natural predator of these things, but I don't know if they'll figure it out in time.
The lamb outside our window just got bigger. It absorbed a bunch of nuggets that came out of the storm drain. I think it's going to break through soon.
Lauren, you and Emma need to get to the second floor. These things can't climb well, at least not yet. We'll figure something out.
Thanks, but hurry. I don't think these windows will hold for long.
Nathan, I have confirmation. The massive shape in the trench is actively moving closer to shore. It's followed the exact pattern I predicted.
As nugget activity increases, the sea eater approaches.
Classic predator-prey relationship. It senses the biomass of its natural food source and moves in to feed.
So nature already has a solution to our problem.
Potentially, but there's a complication. The harbor dredging created a barrier. The creature can't reach the full shallow water where most of the nuggets are.
So we need to bring the prey to the predator.
Exactly. If we could collect enough of the biomass and transport it beyond the reef, the sea eater might consume it.
And break the Reformation cycle.
At least for another 80 to 100 years. It's how the ecosystem has naturally balanced for centuries.
This could work, but collecting that much biomass will be dangerous.
Extremely. The lambs are becoming more aggressive by the hour, and the big charlies are forming rapidly.
We need boats and bait.
Captain Morgan can help with the vessels, but creating bait that will attract all the fragments. That's where we need Dr. Kapoor's expertise.
Update from our house. The lambs are trying to break in. They've gotten much more aggressive.
Same all over town. Reports on the emergency broadcast say they're specifically targeting children.
Where are you now, Lauren?
Upstairs bathroom with Emma. We've barricaded the door, but they're getting more persistent.
They must need more biomass, specifically young biomass. Children have more growth potential, more stem cells.
Thanks for the science lesson, Lucas. But I really don't need to know why they want to eat my sister right now.
Is there any way out of your house?
Not without going past them. There are at least 5 in the hallway now.
Danny and I are at the harbor. The situation here is bizarre. There's no fish anywhere near the coast. All marine life has completely vanished.
But the lambs are everywhere. They're all heading toward the old cannery. Something massive is forming there, bigger than a truck already.
That must be one of the big Charlies, if it merges with the others forming around town.
I'm with Captain Morgan now. She's providing access to fishing vessels. Dr. Winters has a plan. We're going to try to lure these things into the deep water, where the sea eater can get them.
How soon? Because we're running out of time here.
They're preparing now, but it will take hours to get everything ready.
Lauren, we're coming to get you and Emma. Just hang tight. Danny knows where the emergency response team is setting up.
Please hurry. The bathroom door won't hold much longer.
All units report. We need a complete status update on Nugget and lamb containment efforts.
School zone is completely overrun. We've evacuated all students and staff, but the concentration of lambs is too high for safe collection.
Harbor Zone reporting. We've managed to contain approximately 200 nuggets in metal tanks, but they're getting stronger, and the containers might not hold.
Downtown zone. We've filled 3 dumpsters with nuggets, but for everyone we catch, 3 more appear. The grocery store is completely lost now. Lambs have taken over the building.
Keep the containment efforts going. Every nugget we capture is one less for the Charlies. But shift focus to evacuation. Get people to safe zones away from the forming masses.
What about the Charlies themselves? We have 3 confirmed and growing.
We can't stop them directly, but I believe we can lure them. Dr. Kapoor and I are developing a chemical attractant based on the proteins they seek.
And then what?
We load it onto boats, take it beyond the reef, where the sea eater can reach it.
You want to feed these things to an even bigger monster?
It's the natural solution, the ecological balance that's worked for centuries.
And if it doesn't work?
Then we'll have consolidated all the biomass away from town, giving us more options for destruction.
All right, let's do it your way. How can we help?
We need volunteers to help create the bait and to pilot the boats.
I'll handle the vessels. We have 3 commercial fishing boats ready, and enough smaller craft for emergency evacuation.
I'll coordinate the ground teams. Focus on getting people to safety and collecting as many loose nuggets as possible.
Nathan, I've synthesized the attractant based on the protein structures they're seeking.
How effective will it be?
In theory, extremely. It contains concentrated versions of the proteins they need for merging, like catnip for flesh monsters.
Will it work on all forms? Nuggets, lambs, and Charlies?
Yes, the basic biological imperative remains constant, but the larger forms may be more resistant. They have more complex decision-making capabilities.
How much have you produced?
20 gallons. It should be enough if properly deployed.
And the sea eater? Will it be attracted as well?
No. Based on Dr. Hayes' data, it has very different chemoreceptors. It's attracted to the biomass itself, not these specific proteins.
Perfect. We need to load the Attractant onto Captain Morgan's vessels immediately.
Already coordinating delivery. But Nathan, be careful. Once you deploy this, everything will converge on it, including the Charlies.
That's exactly what we want, to draw them away from town and into the Sea Eaters' hunting grounds.
Just make sure whoever pilots that boat can get away quickly.
Attention. Townwide effort now underway. 3 priorities. 1. Evacuate civilians to safe zones away from forming masses. 2. Collect as many loose nuggets as possible in metal containers. 3. Prepare harbor for emergency operation Deep Feed.
I'll be coordinating from the Marina. Dr. Kapoor's Attractant formula is ready. Captain Morgan has vessels prepared.
We have 3 commercial trawlers fueled and ready, and 6 smaller craft for support. Volunteer crews standing by.
We've consolidated our nugget collection at the fire station. Over 500 contained so far, but the largest Charlie is now the size of a bus and moving toward town center.
School zone evacuation complete, but we have multiple lambs converging all over town. They're herding people toward the Charlies.
Focus on getting contained nuggets to the harbor. Every one of those bastards that we remove from town is one less for the Charlies. And keep people away from the forming masses. The situation will worsen before it improves.
What about the lambs? They're attacking people now.
Conventional weapons are ineffective. Focus on evacuation and avoidance. Once we deploy the Attractant, they should be drawn to it.
And the timeline?
We'll be ready to deploy within 3 hours, if we can hold out that long.
We don't have much choice. All units acknowledge and proceed.
Harbor team acknowledged.
Downtown team acknowledged.
School zone team acknowledged.
Good luck, everyone. If this works, Red Cove can finally end this cycle. See you at the harbor.
Critical alert! Multiple big Charlies confirmed forming throughout town. The one at the cannery has grown to building size. Downtown Charlie nearly as large. Third one forming at the water treatment facility.
The timeline is accelerating. We have less time than we thought.
Harbor Charlie beginning to form as well. That makes 4. If they converge,
They won't. We're finalizing our plan now. Dr. Kapoor, Lucas, and I have developed an Attractant, powerful enough to override their merging instinct.
How soon can it be deployed?
Within the hour. We're loading it onto the vessel now.
I've identified an old fishing trawler, the Northern Star. Large enough to handle the collected biomass, and sturdy enough to navigate beyond the reef.
Perfect. Now we need a volunteer to pilot it.
That's a suicide mission, Nathan. No one's going to volunteer for that.
We'll set up remote controls then. Get it far enough out, then evacuate and control it from a lifeboat.
Still extremely dangerous. Those waters beyond the reef are treacherous, especially with the weather turning.
I know, but it's our only chance. Samir, is the compound ready?
Final batch just completed. This should be powerful enough to attract every nugget, lamb, and Charlie in Red Cove.
And you're certain about the chemical stability?
As certain as I can be. It mimics the exact protein signature they're programmed to seek, concentrated to act like a biological magnet.
Excellent. We're loading it onto the trawler, along with the contained specimens.
Just be cautious with deployment. Once activated, everything will be drawn to it, including the larger masses.
That's exactly what we want. Draw them away from town and into the Sea Eaters' domain.
Then may luck be with you. The compounds are labeled in sequence. Deploy them in numerical order for maximum effectiveness.
Understood. Thank you, Samir. Your work may have saved this town.
Phase 1 of the plan is ready. Dr. Winters, Dr. Kapoor and I have created the bait. It's like catnip for these things. Should draw them all to the harbor.
Will it work on the big Charlies too?
That's the theory. Though the larger they get, the more intelligence they develop, so they might resist more.
We've organized teams for final nugget collection. Ms. Winters designed these specialized containers. They can hold dozens of nuggets without dissolving.
Emma and I finally escaped our house. The lambs suddenly left, all heading toward the cannery.
That's where the biggest Charlie is forming. I'm at the harbor with Captain Morgan. We're getting the trawler ready.
Who's going to pilot it?
I am.
What? Danny, that's insane.
Someone has to. I have sailing experience, and Theo knows these waters. He'll guide me remotely.
That's too dangerous. Those things will swarm the boat.
That's the point. Get them all on board. Then take them out to the trench, where the Sea Eater can do its thing.
There has to be another way.
If you have a better idea, I'm all ears. But we're running out of time. Besides, I'll be separating from the ship once out there and remotely piloting it from a lifeboat.
And I'll be monitoring from the Harbor Master's tower, guiding Danny via text.
It could work, if everything goes perfectly.
When does anything ever go perfectly? But it's our best shot.
When are you doing this?
As soon as the trawler is loaded, which should be within the hour once the sun starts to rise. So if anyone has anything to say to me, now's the time.
Nathan, The sea eater is circling less than a mile beyond the reef. It's definitely responding to the biomass.
That's perfect timing. We're loading the Attractant now. If we can get the trawler out there...
The sea eater should take care of the rest. It's been maintaining this ecological balance for centuries, maybe longer.
Have you picked up any other unusual readings?
Nothing that would interfere with our plan, but the sea conditions are worsening. High waves expected as the sun rises.
Then we need to move quickly. Danny Martinez has volunteered to pilot the trawler.
Is she experienced enough? Those waters are treacherous, even for seasoned captains.
Theo Jenkins will guide her, and she only needs to get beyond the reef, then evacuate via speedboat.
It's risky, but I don't see any alternatives. Not with those Charlies growing by the minute.
Exactly. We're out of other options.
I'll monitor from the research station. Keep you updated on the sea eater's movements. And Nathan, good luck.
Security perimeter established around the harbor. All non-essential personnel evacuated. We're ready for the operation.
Thank you, Diana. How's the situation in town?
Deteriorating rapidly. The cannery Charlie has developed what looks like a mouth and some kind of primitive sensory organs.
The Titan of Flesh is getting close to reconstituting. We're cutting it extremely close.
How much longer until you're ready?
Danny is boarding the trawler now. We've loaded all collected nuggets and the attractant. Once we deploy the initial compound, things will happen very quickly.
My team is ready. We'll maintain the perimeter, keep civilians away, and deal with any lambs that arrive early.
Perfect. This will work, Diana.
It has to, because we're out of alternatives. The Charlies are all moving toward town center now, just as the historical accounts described.
We won't let history repeat itself. Not this time. We'll break the cycle.
Trawler is loaded and ready. All attractant compounds secured on deck. Contained nuggets in the hold.
What about the escape craft?
Small speedboat secured to the stern. Fueled and ready. Once Danny reaches the deployment zone, she can transfer and return quickly.
And you're confident in the vessel's seaworthiness?
The Northern Star is old but reliable. Should handle the conditions. Though I'm concerned about the gathering storm.
What storm?
Weather Service just issued an advisory. Strong winds and high seas developing offshore. Might hit just as the operation is underway.
That complicates things, but doesn't change the plan. We have to proceed.
I agree. We've radioed in our position and operation. Coast Guard is standing by if needed, though they think we're crazy.
They might be right, but we're out of sane options.
Just boarded the trawler. Theo gave me a crash course on navigation. We're loading the last of the Attractant now.
Are you sure about this? There's still time to find another way.
No, there isn't. Look at the news feeds. The Charlies are merging. We have hours at most, maybe less.
What's the exact plan again?
I'll take the trawler out of the harbor. Deploy the first Attractant once I'm in open water. That should draw all the smaller specimens. Then deploy the second one to attract the lambs. Once they're on board, head toward the reef. Final Attractant should bring the Charlies.
Once beyond the reef, Danny drops the emergency beacon. That should keep the Sea Eater in the area. Then she transfers to the speedboat and returns.
Theoretically, the Sea Eater should consume everything, restoring the natural balance.
And if it doesn't?
Then at least we've moved the biomass away from town. Bought us time. Maybe enough to find another solution.
This is insane, but I can't think of anything better.
Exactly. Which is why I'm doing it. Dr. Winters is giving the signal. It's time. Wish me luck?
Be careful. Come back to us.
That's the plan. See you all soon. Operation Deep Feed is a go.
Nathan, my latest research has revealed something disturbing. These specimens aren't just trying to reconstitute, they're attempting to reproduce. Reproduce? How's that different to what we already know? No, you don't understand. The protein structures we've been analyzing, they're not just for growth and regeneration. They contain DNA transfer mechanisms, similar to parasitic infections. Whoa, hold up. Are you saying these creatures can infect humans? Precisely. That explains their targeting of younger hosts, particularly children and teenagers. Their cells are more receptive to genetic modifications. No, if they're using human hosts to reproduce, it would accelerate their life cycle exponentially and potentially spread beyond Red Cove. This may be why the town's founders were so desperate. They weren't just fighting to disperse the organism, they were preventing a reproductive cycle. I need to alert the team immediately. This makes our plan even more urgent. Thank you, Professor. There's one more thing. If anyone has had prolonged contact with these specimens, they should be examined immediately. The infection could already be spreading.
Something's wrong with Emma. She's acting strange. Keeps saying she hears singing.
When did this start?
About an hour ago. First she was just distracted. Now she keeps trying to go outside. Says it's calling her.
Did she have contact with any of the specimens?
She helped collect some from our basement, but we used containers. Wait. Oh my goodness. There are things growing under her skin.
That's not good. Where are you now?
On our way to the evacuation point, but Emma keeps trying to head toward the cannery instead.
You need to get her to doctor. Winters immediately. I just received information from Professor Davenport. These creatures have a parasitic component. They're using human hosts to reproduce.
What? Are you saying Emma is infected?
It seems likely, especially with those growths, and the attraction to the larger mass.
This is horrifying. Could it happen to any of us?
Primarily targeting younger people. Their cells are more adaptable, which is why they're going after kids.
What do I do? She's fighting me now. Keeps saying she needs to go to them.
Restrain her if necessary. Get her to the harbor. Dr. Winters and Dr. Kapoor need to see this.
I can hear it too. The singing. It started about 20 minutes ago, like a beautiful humming coming from the direction of the cannery.
Olivia, have you had direct contact with any specimens?
Yes, we had dozens in our pool. I helped my dad try to remove them.
Check your skin for any unusual growths immediately.
Okay, hold on. Checking now. Uh-oh, I have them too. Little bumps on my arms. They're moving under my skin.
All infected people need to report to the harbor, now.
Nathan, I've identified the parasitic component.
Can it be treated?
Not with any conventional methods. These parasites are integrating with the host's DNA, creating hybrid cells, essentially converting human tissue into more of themselves.
Is it reversible?
In early stages, theoretically, but once the growths appear, the process is likely irreversible.
We have confirmed infections. Lauren's sister Emma, several other teenagers.
This explains why they target children. Younger hosts mean more adaptive cells and longer potential growth periods.
How does this affect our plan?
The infected will be drawn to the main masses, almost irresistibly. But this also means they could serve as vectors. If any escape Red Cove,
then the cycle begins elsewhere. We need to contain all infected individuals, along with the specimens.
There's one more concern, the ultrasonic signals. They appear to accelerate the parasitic development. The closer infected hosts get to the masses, the faster the conversion progresses.
Then we need to keep them away. Issue an emergency alert for all minors. Total evacuation, or quarantine if they show symptoms. Diana, we have a critical update. The organisms have a parasitic component. They're infecting human hosts, particularly children.
What? How widespread is the infection?
Unknown at this time, but we have multiple confirmed cases, all reporting they hear singing from the direction of the cannery.
Those ultrasonic signals we detected, they're affecting people, not just the Nuggets.
Exactly. We need immediate evacuation of all minors from Red Cove. Anyone under 18 is at highest risk.
Consider it done. I'll issue the order now. What about those already showing symptoms?
Direct them to the harbor. We need to examine them and potentially include them in our plan.
What do you mean?
The historical pattern is becoming clear. The infected were likely part of past sacrifices sent to the deep alongside the fragments.
You're talking about sacrificing our own people. Children!
Only if absolutely necessary, and only those beyond saving. Lucas has discovered historical records. I believe the sea eater naturally eliminates both the organism and its parasitic infections.
This is getting darker by the minute, but I trust your judgment. Emergency evacuation order going out now. Emergency directive! Immediate evacuation of all residents under 18. Parasitic infection confirmed in multiple minors. Symptoms include hearing singing or humming, small moving growths under skin, compulsion to move toward the cannery. All symptomatic individuals must report to harbor containment. All others must evacuate immediately. This is not a drill.
My God, we have multiple students reporting singing, at least a dozen showing early symptoms.
Same at the community center. Several children with visible growths, and 5 have already fled toward the cannery. We couldn't stop them.
We need everyone with symptoms at the harbor. They may need to be included in our containment plan.
You can't be serious. These are children.
I understand the ethical implications, but we need to consider the bigger picture. If this spreads beyond Red Cove, the consequences could be global.
Is there no alternative?
We're examining all options, but time is critically short.
I'll coordinate the evacuation. But Nathan, there must be another way.
Nathan, the sea eater has positioned itself directly beyond the reef passage, almost as if it's waiting.
It senses what's coming, just as it has throughout history.
This confirms our theory. It's a natural predator of the titan of flesh, part of an ancient ecological balance.
Eleanor, we've discovered the parasitic component. It's infecting children throughout town.
My God, that explains the historical patterns, the sacrifices mentioned in old accounts.
Exactly. The town's founders didn't just feed the fragments to the deep. They sent infected townspeople as well.
A terrible choice, but perhaps a necessary one. If the infection had spread beyond Red Cove,
we're facing the same choice now. Several children are already showing advanced symptoms.
The sea eater would consume them along with the fragments, resetting the cycle completely.
It's an impossible ethical position, but what's the alternative?
I wish I had an easier answer, but nature rarely provides convenient solutions, only necessary ones.
Oh crap! We missed something in the newspaper about the 1887 incident. There were documents showing parasitic infections. Called it Charlie's Touch. The affected residents developed growths, then began responding to the song.
What happened to them?
According to these records, they were taken to the deep. Along with the fragments, the town elders literally sacrificed their own people by sending them past the reef for the sea eater to consume.
Emma's getting worse. The growths are spreading. She's fighting to get away from me. Says she needs to join the family.
Where are you now?
At the harbor. Dr. Winters is examining her. There are at least 20 other kids here with the same symptoms.
I'm here too. They've put us in a separate area. The singing is so loud now, and the things under my skin are growing.
According to these records, once the growths reach a certain stage, they burst, releasing more nuggets, using the host's biological material.
So what's going to happen to Emma? To all of them?
Dr. Winters is working on it, but these historical records are pretty clear. The infected were sacrificed, sent out with the fragments, to be consumed by the sea eater.
No, there has to be another way.
I'm coming to the harbor now. We'll figure something out. There has to be an alternative.
The trawler is ready. Danny is preparing to launch, but with this new information, the plan may need to change.
This is awful. The Titan of Flesh isn't just trying to reform, it's trying to reproduce through us.
Exactly, which is why our ancestors were so desperate to eliminate every fragment, every infected person. The cycle had to be completely broken, or it would just begin again.
What are they going to do with Emma? With all the infected kids?
I don't know. The ultrasonic signal from the cannery is getting stronger. The nuggets are moving faster, and the infected are getting worse.
All units report status. The massive entity from the cannery is on the move, heading toward town center.
Downtown sector reporting. All remaining nuggets and lambs are converging on the harbor, drawn by the bait.
School zone clear. All uninfected miners evacuated. Infected individuals transported to harbor.
Harbor preparations complete. Trawler loaded with concentrated bait. Danny Martinez and Theo Jenkins standing by.
We need to adapt our plan. The parasitic infections complicate things, but also provide an opportunity.
What do you mean?
Dr. Kapoor has identified minerals from the deep water. They destabilize Nugget cellular structure. We're preparing an experimental treatment for the infected.
Will it work?
There's reason for optimism, but our primary objective remains unchanged. Lure the Titan of Flesh to the harbor, then transport it beyond the reef, to the sea eater.
The entity is massive now. Harbor security teams are in position. We're ready when you are.
Nathan, the mineral compound is ready, synthesized from deep water samples Dr. Hayes provided.
Will it work on the infected?
In theory, yes. The minerals disrupt the parasitic bond, breaking the connection between host and parasite.
And you're confident it won't harm the patients?
As confident as I can be. The compounds are non-toxic to humans, but deadly to the Nugget cellular structure.
We'll begin administration immediately, starting with Emma Harlow. Her infection is most advanced.
Keep the infected contained. Even during treatment, the parasitic connection will try to compel them to join the main mass.
Understood. I'll report back on efficacy.
I'm with Emma at Dr. Winter's clinic. They're giving her some kind of treatment. Deep water minerals that might break the parasitic bond.
Lucas and I are at the harbor. We've set up ultrasonic devices around the perimeter. They mimic and amplify the creature's own signals.
The devices are working. The house-sized mass is changing course, moving toward the harbor instead of town center.
Mrs. Foster and I have prepared the stabilizing mixture. We're spreading it along the harbor path now. Should keep the creatures directed towards the trawler.
Danny's on it now. Everything's ready. The concentrated bait is positioned on deck. When the creature arrives, she'll lure it aboard.
What if something goes wrong?
Then we improvise. But this is our only shot. I can see the Titan approaching from my position. It's absolutely massive now. The lambs and remaining nuggets are joining with it, making it even bigger.
The ultrasonic signal is working perfectly. It's following our path exactly.
How's Emma? Is she?
I'm with her at the clinic. We've all received the mineral treatment. It burns like crazy, but I think it's working. The growths are changing color, becoming less active.
It's time. The Titan of Flesh has reached the harbor. I'm deploying the final bait. Wish me luck.
Nathan, the sea eater is in optimal position, less than half a mile beyond the reef passage.
Perfect timing. Danny is deploying the final bait now. The Titan of Flesh has reached the harbor.
Is the trawler ready?
Yes, loaded with the concentrated attractant. The creature is responding as predicted.
What about the infected?
The mineral treatment shows promising results. The parasitic bonds appear to be weakening.
That's wonderful news. I'll continue tracking the sea eater and guide Danny to the optimal position.
Thank you, Eleanor, for everything.
Just doing my job. And Nathan, I believe we're witnessing the resolution of an ancient ecological cycle, one that's repeated for centuries, perhaps longer.
Let's make sure it resolves correctly, so we don't have to do this again in our lifetime.
Danny, The harbor path is clear. Titan of flesh approaching your position, moving exactly as predicted.
I can see it. It's indescribable, like a mountain of flesh and eyes.
Stay focused. Deploy the final bait when it reaches the pier.
Understood. Final bait deployed. It's responding, moving directly toward the trawler.
Perfect. The stabilizing minerals are keeping it solid. Once it's fully aboard, start the engines.
It's climbing onto the vessel now. The weight is massive, but the trawler is holding.
Proceed with caution. Remember your escape route. The speedboat is ready for your evacuation.
The creature is now fully aboard. Starting engines. We're underway.
Excellent work. Maintain course toward the reef passage. Dr. Hayes will guide you to the exact coordinates.
Nathan, the harbor operation appears successful. The creature is aboard the trawler. Danny has successfully started toward the reef passage.
Outstanding. And the infected?
The mineral treatment is showing remarkable results. Growths are receding in all patients. Emma Harlow responding particularly well.
This is better than we hoped. Any remaining nuggets in town?
Scattered reports, but they seem to be following the main mass, almost like they're being pulled toward it.
The hive mind connection, as the Titan of flesh moves away. It's drawing all remaining fragments with it.
So once it's consumed by the sea eater,
the entire organism should be eliminated, breaking the cycle completely.
For how long?
Based on historical patterns, at least 80 to 100 years. Perhaps longer if the harbor is never dredged again.
I think we can manage that. I'll make sure of it.
Leaving the harbor now. This thing is massive but secure on deck. The boat is holding.
You're doing great, Danny. Maintain course heading 157, straight toward the reef passage.
The seas are getting rougher, but we're making progress. About halfway to the reef now.
Any news on Emma?
Yes, actually, the treatment is working. The parasitic growths are breaking down. All infected patients showing rapid improvement.
Thank goodness.
I'm feeling much better now. The singing has stopped, and the things under my skin are dissolving.
It seems like the connection is severing. As the creature moves farther away.
Approaching the reef passage now. Eleanor is guiding me to the exact coordinates. The sea eater is waiting just beyond.
Remember to deploy the emergency beacon, then evacuate immediately.
Be careful, Danny. Don't cut it too close.
I've got this. The creature is still secure, but something's happening. It's starting to shift, like it senses what's coming.
You're past the reef now. Deploy the beacon.
Beacon deployed. I can see something in the water. Something huge. Moving toward us.
That's your cue to evacuate. Now!
On my way to the speedboat, but the seas are really rough.
Just hurry.
Starting the speedboat now. The sea eater is surfacing. Oh my goodness, it's enormous. It's taking the whole trawler. I'm clear. Heading back to harbor.
Nathan, it worked. The sea eater has consumed the entire trawler, along with the Titan of flesh. And my goodness, just look at the thing.
Danny, is she safe?
Yes, she evacuated successfully, already heading back in the speedboat.
And the sea eater?
Returning to the deep. The natural cycle is complete, ecological balance restored.
What about remaining specimens?
Reports coming in from all over town. Remaining nuggets are disintegrating, turning into inert organic material. The hive mind connection has been severed.
It's over then. We did it.
For now, until the next cycle, but hopefully that won't be for another century.
Final status report. The Titan of flesh has been successfully transported beyond the reef and consumed by the sea eater. The crisis is over.
Confirming all remaining nuggets throughout town have disintegrated. No further movement or activity.
All infected patients showing complete recovery. No remnants of parasitic growths remaining.
Downtown sector clear. Beginning cleanup operations.
Harbor secured. Danny Martinez returning safely. ETA 10 minutes.
Outstanding work, everyone. What we've accomplished today has saved not just Red Cove, but potentially prevented a global catastrophe.
Let's never dredge the harbor again. Ever!
Agreed. And let's document everything, so future generations won't repeat our mistakes.
I'll ensure it becomes part of the official town record, complete and unaltered.
Thank you all for your courage and dedication. Red Cove will recover, and the cycle has been broken, at least for our lifetimes.
Emma's completely recovered. All the growths are gone. She doesn't remember much of what happened.
Same with all the other infected kids. Clean bill of health. It's like the parasites never existed.
Just docked at the harbor. That was the most terrifying thing I've ever experienced. The sea eater was beyond description, ancient and massive. It swallowed the trawler in seconds.
You're officially the bravest person I know.
A total badass. You saved the town.
Maybe the world.
I just piloted a boat. We all did this together.
The remaining nuggets around town have all disintegrated, just turning into harmless organic mints. The connection is completely severed.
So it's really over?
For now, according to historical patterns. It will return eventually, but not for decades. Not in our lifetime.
Unless someone decides to dredge the harbor again, which I think should be made highly illegal.
After documenting everything, we should make sure this knowledge isn't lost, like it almost was this time.
Agreed. No one should ever have to figure this out from scratch again.
I'm just glad we all made it, and that Red Cove is safe. Though I don't think I'll ever look at meat the same way again.
Vegetarianism does suddenly seem appealing.
The ecosystem is remarkable. The titan of flesh and the sea eater. A predator-prey relationship spanning centuries, maybe millennia.
With us caught in the middle, just trying not to get eaten.
Let's meet up tomorrow, process everything that's happened. I think we all need a little normalcy.
After I sleep for about 48 hours straight, I'm in.
Same.
Looking forward to it.
Maybe no meat products, though. Just a suggestion.
Definitely no meat. Just no, never again.